Icy January afternoon in 1981 at Veterans Stadium.
We didn't expect what we got. We were too concerned maybe about their fans, maybe too concerned about the weather, maybe too concerned about that sorry field, the vet.
I think most people say that, that was our Super Bowl. Here we are 29 years later, they still talk about beating the Dallas Cowboys for the NFC Championship.
I'll tell you where you're going. You're going to Super Bowl.
Still, it wasn't until the 1987 season, when most players went on strike for 24 days, that the Philadelphia-Dallas rivalry turned from routinely antagonistic to uniquely ugly.
We played them for 5 years, and we never lost a game unless you use the scab game as a victory. And we don't use those.
In the first of their 2 games that year, Buddy Ryan's Eagles, all replacement players, fell to Tom Landry's Cowboys. Several of them regulars who crossed the picket line.
What made me mad that the strike year, he played his starters. We had people off the street, and we're supposed to be playing them. That's when, after the game, I told him, when you come back to Philly, we're going to kick your butt.
2 weeks later, the strike now over, Ryan's Eagles made good on his promise.
Buddy said, why don't you just fake like you're going to take a knee and throw it in the end zone? And so I just did what I was told.
Oh, yeah, we planned that, and we were going to take, part of our revenge plan.
It was kind of like a little jab to get him back, and it was his decision.
That was just Buddy being Buddy. We weren't prepared for it, and we got burnt as a result.
It was more important beating the Cowboys than just winning going to the playoffs.
Oh, who in the hell are the Cowboys? We beat them every time we play them.
That was the first of 8 consecutive victories for the Eagles against the Cowboys, who were in a state of decline. 2 years later, in 1989, with Jimmy Johnson now coaching the Cowboys, the Eagles won in Dallas in a game that would come to be known as the Bounty Bowl.
It was confirmed by 2 different players. There's a $200 bounty on Luis Zendejas, a $500 bounty on Troy Aikman.
Coaches didn't make the kind of money they know. You couldn't have a bounty. Where would you get the money?
We were crazy back then, and if Buddy said go and get somebody, it was a thing that we did legally. All I remember was Luis knocked out and, on his feet knocked out. And he came toward our sideline and he's saying, I'm going to get you. I went up and kind of hugged him so he didn't fall.
Would you have gone after Buddy if you could?
If I could have stood on my 2 legs, I would have ducked him.
They said there was a bounty on Zendejas. Well, we wanted him to be able to kick because we had just cut him the week before.
Oh, I would have said something to Buddy, but he wouldn't stand on the field long enough. He put his big fat rear end into the dressing room.
I resent that. I've been on a diet. I lost a couple of pounds, and I thought I was looking good.
For the rematch 2 weeks later, relentlessly hyped as Bounty Bowl 2, Eagles fans raised their game, aided by the front office, which neglected to remove tons of snow that had blanketed Veterans Stadium.
We didn't get a chance to clean the stadium seats because the snow came in at a bad time, so it was no big deal. Both teams had to play in it.
Well, I remember getting hit by several snowballs, and the thing I remember most is all of our trainers running around saying, keep your helmets on.
I remember a referee getting hit that game, and I remember they were trying to bomb Jimmy Johnson, and a couple of our guys got hit, but those were the soft ones.
A full decade later, Eagles fans proved the depth of their contempt for the Cowboys.
The rivalry had always been ugly. A lot of bad words have been said throughout the years and whatnot, but to have a guy on the field that had a neck injury and then the fans booed, man, it was classless.
In the 10 seasons since the Michael Irvin incident, the Eagles have mostly dominated the Cowboys, winning 13 games while losing only 7. But that imbalance hasn't diminished the intensity of the Philadelphia-Dallas rivalry, which isn't the NFL's most storied, but maybe its most uncivil.
I think those rivalries, for years, took football to another level.
There was no rivalry that was as fierce and it was as nasty.
It's the Eagles and the Cowboys. It's Philadelphia, it's Dallas. There is bad blood. Period.
Yeah, and that carries on to today. And Chris, you came up with the Eagles and played right in the Bounty Bowl. There you are, young Chris Carter. Looked like Keith Jackson over there before, 88.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Nelly, look, had hands in, too.
Tell you I don't believe in dropping it.
Well,
so me. I don't care if it bounced or whatever.
You played in that, so what do you remember from that game and that time, Chris?
Well, the truth of the matter, we lost all 3 of the strike games, so it cost us the playoffs. So when we went back to playing Dallas again, yeah, there was a little extra going into the game. But it was my inauguration to the National Football League, and I didn't understand what rivalries were, but this was one of the best ones. And I was mad at Jesse Small. He got to the kicker before me because I knew I couldn't get to Troy Aikman. But, yeah, we had a bounty on him.
Play special teams?
You did?
Yeah, return kicks.
You had a bounty on him?
Yeah, of course we did. Yeah, ain't nothing new.
I know.
And you get more if the guy staggers and falls down, too.
Well, and that tees us up for recent Cowboy-Eagles festivities, if you will. November 15, 2004, Monday night, Donovan McNabb. Remember this? Whoop! And then the ultimate whoop! And then more whoop! It was a 14-second scramble until he found who else? Only on these long, crazy plays, Freddie Mitchell was always open, right?
Freddie.
He would win 49-21. Then, of course, we had the horse collar, Roy Williams, T.O. Of course, he would later return to the Super Bowl and have that great performance. October 8, 2006, T.O. now a Cowboy, but it was Lido. Whoa, 102 yards, one more for the road. He balls Skaggs his way into the end zone as the Eagles won 38-24. Next season, December 16, 2007, Brian Westbrook, one of the most heads-up plays you'll ever see. He's going to score a touchdown, 10-6. Better to kill clock and not score a touchdown. Keep the clock going. And winner go home last week. The end of last year, the Eagles 5 turnovers, sacked Tony Romo 3 times, 2 defensive touchdowns. They won 44-6. For a preview of 3:15 Central Time kickoff, again, here's Ed Werder.
Well, Boomer, perhaps nothing did more to create or at least reinforce Tony Romo's reputation for big game failure than his performance against the Eagles Week 17 last year. With the playoffs on the line, Romo committed 3 turnovers, suffered 3 sacks, and the Cowboys lost by 38 points. Now Romo's playing his best football, and there's no apparent sense of dread about meeting the Eagles with the NFC East title on the line. The quarterback telling me, I love it when it really matters, when you're playing for everything. The Eagles believe they can bring back the mistake-prone Romo. To do so, defensive end Trent Cole told me the emphasis will be on hitting Romo right away, getting early sacks and preventing him from getting in a rhythm. The Cowboys wide receiver Miles Austin has a sprained left thumb. That'll be taped. He told me it causes him no problems. And Boomer, for the Eagles, Andy Reid says he'll have a package of plays for Brian Westbrook and expects Michael Vick to be the number 2 quarterback.
All right, Ed, thank you very much. Westbrook in 23 plays last week, so expect about the similar amount. And Vic being the number 2, fully dressed, we'll see if he has something special then. How about them Cowboys and how about them Eagles? At least they're both going to the playoffs. How good can they be and what happens?
Well, I think that either one could be very good, but I think for the Dallas Cowboys, the key to the football game, not all the great skilled people they have, the offensive line. They've gotten some great balance the last couple of weeks. It's the first time they had 30-plus carries in back-to-back games. That balance is making Romo comfortable. And in the case of the Eagles, with the most explosive offense in football, it helps keep them off the football field.
And I think the key to this game is Brian Westbrook, and you're right, being explosive. And I think Andy Reid has something here. Brian Westbrook is back. The first game they played him, he was not a part of that football game. He is now. So the Dallas Cowboys are going to have problems defensively with the linebackers. Who's going to cover him? It's going to be a bad mismatch. Do you bring in an extra corner? Do you allow the safety to come down? One of the linebackers have to take him. With Deshaun Jackson on the football field, as well as the tight end, help me with that name again, Boom?
Brent Selleck, yep.
And with that in Donovan McNabb and those weapons, he has some toys to play with.
Well, there's a lot of keys to the game. I think the key to the game is the secondary of the Dallas Cowboys. They cannot give up big plays to Jackson and Macklin. Here's the other thing. You must get off the field on 3rd down. If they don't do this, they can't win.
Yeah, I'm concerned about this $1.15 billion stadium. You've lost 9 9 finales in a row. Now, when you build, you know, kind of something to honor yourself, don't you think it's worth 1 win at least? I mean, come on. I mean, how much money do you have to spend to get a home field advantage?
To honor yourself.
I mean, don't you think that if you spent that much money, you have a home field advantage?
You're not invited to the party.
But on the football side of things, Mike Jenkins, the corner, this guy's really adapted to the pro game, can play man, can play zone, very good coverage skills.
Big plays settled the first game. Austin made a big play 3.5 minutes to go. The Eagles didn't make the tackle. The Eagles have more big plays and had 50+ than anybody in football. Deshaun Jackson leading. Dallas is either third or fourth. They're behind. Who can make the big play? Who can avoid the tackles? New center for Philadelphia. Jamal Jackson started a bunch of games. He's out. Right guard Nick Cole moves over to center. That's against Ratliff. So who can get a pass rush to prevent big plays? Couple things to think about as we think about the second seed. Philly wins. They never imagined they'd be playing for an automatic bye if they beat the Cowboys, but they are. The Cowboys win, and if the Vikings and Cardinals lose, they get the second seed. But the Cowboys win, they get a home game, and a couple weeks ago, that didn't look like that was happening. Mort, Adam, always a home game with you guys. Who's in, who's out?
Boomer, you mentioned Drew Brees earlier. You know, by sitting out today, he will set the all-time completion percentage record in the NFL, over 70%.